Hi everyone, Grant for the Flame Learning channel. One of the crucial aspects of running your Flame product is to ensure that your disks have enough performance in order to give you a great Flame experience. With Flame 2023.1, you now have access to easy-to-use disk performance tools which can be used at various different levels. So in this video, you'll go through the process of testing the performance of your project's media cache, as well as testing the performance of media at their original location. In order to test the performance of your Flame's media cache, you need to open the Flame Preferences and choose the Storage tab. Here you will find a bunch of testing options that are relevant to your current project. This testing tool will look at the drive you have set up with your media folder, and it will also use the media cache and render settings for this project. When you click Test Disks with the default settings, Flame will perform a read test using the cached media settings of the project. The findings of the test are reported in the message bar and are displayed in multiple ways. You have frames per second, a frame-based decoding statistic in second per frame, and finally megabytes per second. You could toggle the buttons to perform a write test and even test the performance of proxies on your media folder drive. The main point of this particular tool is that it tests your chosen storage with your chosen settings for cached media, rendered media, and proxy media. So now you'll know if your main drive can cope with the defined project settings and media cache. In addition to being able to test the performance of your chosen media folder drive with your project's media cache and render settings, it is also possible to test any clip in its original location. For example, let's select this clip and test its performance in Flame. Call up the context menu, go to the Media sub-menu, and choose Test Disks. The performance of this clip will be reported in the message bar. If you missed the report, just open the console and you can find the report there. Now, very importantly, this test is checking the performance of the clip wherever it may exist. But in addition to that, the test is also being performed through the Flame import pipeline. So using the settings defined in the Media Hub, like GPU, CPU, debayering, resolution, etc., the reported figures will tell you exactly how this media will perform if it's natively imported into Flame. Based on the readout, you may decide to work natively with the file, or cache the file for a better performance in Flame. So you now have the ability to be completely informed when making these decisions. Finally, you also have the ability to select a sequence clip and do a performance test on your timeline. This will test the sequence and report an overall average of performance. Bear in mind that this will depend on the formats used and the resolutions of the media. Please note that the test disk option will not appear if there are any unrendered or partially rendered segments in your sequence. This prevents unnecessary performance issues and inaccurate test results in this case. Ultimately, performing the test correctly, you can determine the average expected frame rate of the sequence, as well as identify any possible disk problems during playback. Hopefully, you can now feel confident that your storage is always performing at its best in the context of the Flame products. Please subscribe to the Flame Learning channel and click the bell to be notified for future videos. Comments, feedback, and suggestions are always welcome and appreciated. And thanks for watching.